And Warren Buffett said something that I really hold to my heart even to this day. He said, an investor's worst nightmare is having a big wallet. Because you start thinking the money can compensate for the research. You start thinking the money can compensate for the due diligence. And that's in every aspect of life. So I thought about something, Jose. You know how people always say that you gotta have, like, the way to test gold is to put it under fire. But I think we miss a critical aspect of that whole thing, which is the reason you're putting the gold under the fire is to identify the fraudulent metals that could be in it. Right? Like when you as a solid piece of gold, you can't determine what are the other liquids or other metals mixed with it. But we do know that if it's mixed with nickel, copper, or anything like that, it dilutes the purity of the gold, right? So watch what I'm about to say here, Jose. Watch what I'm about to say here, Jose. Under the fire is when you can determine how authentic a person is. That's how we started. I thought about that, Jose. I said it is, because watch this, Jose. As long as you just looking at the gold, you like, damn, that's a nice piece of gold. Right? As long as you're looking at the gold as it sits still, you value it as if it is what's the word I'm gonna use here? As if it's raw gold, uncontaminated, it's not diluted, it's pure. It's like, so as long as it's sitting here, you look at it as it's pure gold. But let's make sense in the realistic form. Like, I want to take it from the gold and talk about you as a person. On your journey, you can call people friends. You can say, this is my day one. This is my brother. This is my sister. This is my family. Because you ain't never been under the fire to see that it ain't pure. Right? It ain't pure. Everybody is cool when everybody winning. Everybody cool when one person has a different motive and the other person is oblivious to it. Right? So one person can be moving in authenticity of value in the relationship, or value in the sisterhood, or value in the brotherhood, or value in the partnership. But what happens is, under fire, or when one person gets what they want, the nature of the relationship is now diluted. But you didn't know it was diluted because it was never under fire. It was never under fire. And because it was never under fire, you never saw the true nature of the relationship. All right? So now when you put the gold under fire, and here's the thing about when you put gold under fire, Jose, it can't just be like a stove fire. Like, it can't just be like a lighter flick. It can't just be that. It has to be extreme temperature. It has to be so hot to the point the gold turns like pinkish until it starts to melt. Until it only melts when the gold changes color. It's so hot, it changes color. Watch this, Jose. How much fire have you put the people under that you are attempting to bring on a journey with you? How much fire, how much pressure are we putting the people under that we are attempting to bring with us? All right, let me make it make more sense, Jose. How much progress have you made under pressure? Because your teachings only get taught in the trenches, Jose. Jose, your teachings only get taught in the trenches. That's why people always be like, man, I wish if I would have knew then what I know now. The reason people said it is because the then that they're referring to is the pressure. They're not talking about the then when everything was sweet. Man, if I would have knew then what I know now. The then that they're referring to is a then that almost broke them. It was a then that suffocated them. It was a then that overwhelmed them. It was a then that made them think about quitting. It was a then that made them question, do they really want to do what they signed up for? It's not the then when everything was all good, because watch this, Jose, you learn the least when you win it. Jose, you learn the least when you win it. You know why? Because when you win and you think you're doing everything right. And that's why we say arrogance, wins build arrogance. Losses build confidence. That's why I came up with that, Jose. It's hard to learn when you winning. Because in your mind, you start thinking you got the Midas touch. You think ain't everything I touch turn to gold. Andre Ward is a boxer that I really love, right? He got a book out. Andre got in a battle in his last fight. And his coach told him something. His coach said after the fight, he said, the only thing you ain't did yet was lose. What you still doing it for? He said the only thing you ain't did yet was lose. Now, I say that because what happens is when you're winning, you miss details that you wouldn't overlook when you was just beginning. You overlook certain things because you've built up the capacity, you've built up the tolerance. Okay, let me make it make sense in trading terms now, in investing terms now. Says we're gonna move from the gold, we're gonna move from the boxing, we're gonna talk about wealth creation. We're gonna talk about investing in the stock market. We're gonna talk about that, right? All my people, we're gonna talk about real estate. All my people who invest, the first deal you do, you paying attention to everything. You trying to bring people with you, because you want to make sure you don't miss nothing. After about a few of them, you like, I got it. That ain't no big deal. And Warren Buffett said something that I really hold to my heart even to this day. He said, an investor's worst nightmare is having a big wallet. Because you start thinking the money can compensate for the research. You start thinking the money can compensate for the due diligence. And that's in every aspect of life. We start thinking that the money, once you get some bread, you start feeling like the money can overcompensate for doing the due diligence, for doing the homework, for understanding what value is, for not mixing up value with price. What is the progress under pressure looking like? And having the money can also be pressure, because when you got the money, when you got the success, when you got the notoriety, the pressure to continuously live up to that can eat you away from the inside. What does the progress look like under pressure, Jose? We talking today, episode 93, Trapping Tuesday, partner.